Hello and welcome back to my channel and welcome to Sketch Sunday. And it's Sunday, so I am participating today in Christy's, of course, Christy's from Christy's Beautiful Life, in her 30 Days of Sketches, or the 4th edition, along with Crystal from Pineapple Papers and Christina. I will have all of those channels linked below. And, well, this is the last Sunday of the series, since next Sunday is December 1st. But Christy, Crystal, and Christina, whenever she is able to catch up, will have some more sketches all throughout the week until Saturday in this lovely series. And I think, tell me what you think, I think I'm going to keep Sketch Sunday going for a little while. And I'm going to go back into maybe this series of 30 Days of Sketches and the previous ones, and select a few of my favorites, or maybe have Christy suggest a few of her favorites. Or if you have any favorites, you can either go into Christy's playlist, I'll link it down below, or I'll at least link her channel if I can't figure out how to link the playlist. Or you can always go and search the hashtag 30DSCBL, with or without a number of the series, and suggest some sketches if you want to see me do them. So I think I'm going to try and keep it going for a while. I so enjoyed playing along with my friends on the Sundays and in previous editions of 30 Days of Sketches. And Christy always chooses the most awesome and fun sketches. So here is my sketch for this week. And here is my take for this week. So I'm not too far off, not too rogue on this one, a little different. I arranged the photos a little bit differently, and that is mainly because my photos were different sizes. They were larger, and in fact I started out with 3 photos that were probably about 3.5 by 3.5, or maybe a little bit more. And I could not make that work at all. So I cropped these 2 photos down to the absolute max that I could to have these 2 pretty much the same size. And then I went down with a little tiny photo here. So that sort of is the first area where I'm a little bit different. And then that dictated maybe a few other differences. But I do think you can still see the sketch here, and I did have fun. So this layout is all about mushrooms, and again, it's about that awesome activity that I went to, the Pumpkin Furno at Upper Canada Village that I went to in November with some family, and how awesome it was. And this was sort of the fairy garden, with mushrooms and acorns and little doors and gnomes. It was just awesome. And really, honestly, if you look at this from far, there is no way you can tell these are pumpkins. But if you get quite close, and even there, when we got very close, we could tell that these masterpieces were all individual pumpkins. So there you go, and this is a little bit of a nod also to my lovely friend Sarah from Sarah Scraps. There you go, Sarah, some lovely mushrooms as embellishments as in the photos. I had actually sent some photos to Sarah when I was at the event, or maybe the next day, saying, look at all these gorgeous mushrooms, and I thought of you, my friend. So here they are. So let's see what I did. So I used here some just basic white cardstock, and then I wanted, because here it looks like, I mean, I think you could interpret this background as either a very subtle pattern or mixed media. I decided to go with some just basic and easy mixed media. Basically, the packaging technique, and then a few little splatters. So I went in and I got the Princess, which thankfully Crystal, my friend Crystal, agrees with me, should actually be called Princess, Pruncess, from the Disney layout that I did. And then some Heidi swap. This is the teal color. And I just swooshed and did the packaging technique on the background. And then I did a little bit of splattering as well. Oh, and I think some of these splatters, I might have used some cotton candy. I forgot to get it out, but I think I used some cotton candy or maybe Pretty in Pink for some of the splatters. So I just got my background done, and as is my way, I either outline back, and outlining I always find is not quite enough. So generally if I outline some white cardstock, I also back it, or also ink the edges. But if I just ink the edges and I use some Tempting Turquoise from Stampin' Up, then I do find that I can just leave the white cardstock. So I got my background done, and then the basic layering of the background here, I stayed pretty true. These papers are all from the Chanel Sparkle City that I'm using for my How to Kill a Kit with Style, or a part of my How to Kill a Kit with Style for November. So this larger paper here, this, which is a little bit more narrow, I made it a little bit longer, whereas here it was pretty much the same size, and that sort of bothered me a little bit for some reason. I don't know why. I'm sort of used to staggering the lengths when I do some strips, so I did that here. I added, which is not here, instead of having just this little tab, I put this little border strip that I had here with some lights, since there were some fairy lights and lights in these photos. I then kept the sort of scallop border here, which is maybe a little bit wider. So the basic layering is the same pretty much as the sketch. Then I got my photos, and I kept the idea of overlapping the photos, but as you can see here, my photos are of course arranged differently. I thought of popping this one up on foam, but then I didn't really want to give any photo more importance than the other. So I just like sort of this little idea of going through this and seeing these lovely lit up and gorgeous mushrooms these gorgeous pumpkins individually carved as mushrooms. So then I went over onto this side, and there were some circular elements, and on the sketch the title was there, but because my photos were arranged a little bit differently, I sort of had this area here. I always love to go in and fill in my blanks that were appropriate. So this little area here was appropriate for my journaling. So I did stick with the strips, but I opted to just go in here with my journaling, which is the fairy garden was magical. Mushrooms, acorns, fairies, butterflies, and gnomes were so colorful and beautifully displayed. We had to look so very closely to realize that these masterpieces were indeed pumpkins. So having my journaling here, I did not really want to put my title there as well. So and then here, of course, I also had a little bit of space here. And I wanted to get some mushroom die cuts. These are from Vicky Boutin. And there had been a challenge in, I think it was the October Secret Not Secret Kit Club monthly scrap party, where Sarah had challenged us to get some mushrooms on our layout. So I had these on my desk ever since. Now, I do notice that there is some green here, which is nowhere else in the layout, but you know what? I'm okay with that. It's sort of a golden color green, and I think it just fits perfectly. So I'm okay with not putting some green. I did think of putting something up here, but I changed my mind on that. So then having this little cluster gave me a perfect little shelf here for a title, which is just magic. November 2019 to fill in this little blank. And then I still wanted a little bit of that circular feel. I didn't do any stitching or any large circular. This would have been perfect for stitching, but I felt with the mixed media background that was busy enough for me at this point. So I just decided to use some circle dies and then do the tiny ones. So you know where you put two sizes, one within the other, and then that gives you sort of like an outline circle. So I did that, and I just popped these in here to give a little bit of that circular element, and that gave me a couple of areas to put some extra little embellishment. I really wanted to get this acrylic fun on there. It's been in those bowls on my desk. I have one of those bowls is full of little acrylic pieces. So I finally got that on here. And these hearts were in those bowls as well. These are, I don't know if they're acrylic or just plastic, but these are from Freckled Fawn, one of their mixed media kits. I think they only ever did one. Anyway, and I had bought it at that point. So I put that here because my little circle element here finished right here. So I had to put something here to finish it off. So I put a couple of hearts, a couple of those fun, glittery, beautiful enamel dots that I got from Helen. And then I just wanted to repeat that over here, another one of those little hearts, so that this sort of gives a little bit of a triangle and frames in my photos. But brought a couple of those little circles over here, and there you go. And Chopin says hello, and I think he loved the mushrooms. He was up on the desk the entire time I was doing this, just sleeping away and gazing at the mushrooms and just seeing if anything flew off. So there you go. So join me, I think, back here again next Sunday, although it's the 1st of December, for another Sketch Sunday. Pop on down, go see Christy's, Crystal's, and Christina's. Thanks so much for joining me. See you soon. Bye. Bye from Chopin as well.